Cunt Squad.
Cunt Squad. No umlets on that door. See, no umlets. Wrong.
So, how has 2025 treated you so far? Or how have you treated this year so far?
Oh.
Yeah, it's been really slow because I was saying a minute ago to you, Nick, that we started our recording February last year, and we basically just had to scrap that because it was sounding good and started all over again. So in the process of doing all that, we wrote some new songs, and because we only had really 4 to start off with. Is that right? Yeah, we only had a few. Originally, the idea was to put together an EP, but we decided, well, our record company wanted more than just 4 songs. They wanted us to do a full record. So, the process began to keep writing, so we wrote a lot more, and then we started re-recording all the stuff and the new stuff, probably last year. I can't remember exactly, but probably October maybe. And then, so it's been a process of trying to get all of that done, and we're probably...
changes?
Yeah, we had a lineup change with Nick joining the band, and basically, so we had to put things on hold until we could get Nick here because he's moved from Brisbane. And now we're at the stage where we finished everything, but we're just mixing it down. Everything else is ready to go, but it's been really frustrating. To answer your question, frustration. Frustration.
Cunt Squad.
So, you mentioned lineup changes. Now, how have the new members taken to the band, and, well, how have the fans felt?
Our band, our ads, you can answer part of Nick. Nick's our new lead guitarist. I just want to talk about that, Nick. Because he would, no, actually, because he joined the band.
Yeah, not much to talk about.
Fans are reacting great so far. We haven't played too many gigs as of yet, but so far very good. Positive.
We've only done a couple of gigs with Nick. So 2?
No, this will be the 4th.
This will be the 4th gig. Still ironing out bits and pieces in terms of, because it's literally Nick arrived in November last year, so he's only had a few months to kind of learn all of the songs and what have you. But apart from that, how do you think you're going with that?
Oh yeah, well, we got the recording done. A lot of it was on the fly, but
Apart from that, so far so good. Yeah, the lineup change was due to a previous lead guitarist was unwell, actually, with our previous guitarist Steve. We wish him all the best, but
physically you wanted to go a different direction too.
We've had some discussions in rehearsals about the direction and the sound and where we were wanting to make more of with this recording in particular being our second, we wanted it to be a statement in terms of, what is the band, because our first CD was pretty much, half of it was kind of like a leftover from stuff we were playing very early on, which is not written by Cunt Squad's band, and the rest of it was sort of new, Cunt Squad songs. So it was a bit of a mash in terms of, mesh, I don't know what the proper word for it is, but in terms of where we wanted to head and solidify ourselves as a band and what we, the kind of gigs we wanted, where we wanted to play, etc., etc.
Yeah, the new album's got a lot more direction. It's undeniable, sort of the sound. It's consistent all the way through, and it's different to how the band sounded previously. That's for sure. It's bigger, louder, heavier.
Yeah, so just I think we've never been a niche band. I think this new CD will also be more of the same. We're still kind of niche in the sense that we don't sound like a lot of other sort of death metal bands, as one example. We don't really sound like the crusty punk bands, and kind of fit somewhere in terms of, you know, direction somewhere in all of that. But we've always had that issue with, you know, promoters saying, well, you know, who do you play with? We play with heavy bands, death metal bands, crusty punk bands. We can play with anyone. We're not fussy, and we're certainly not gatekeepers. So it's like we don't have an issue. But with this CD, you'll find that it is more that death metal sort of sound without the construct. So when there's a reference to Crusty, it's more in terms of the construct of the songs, because obviously it's not as technical as a lot of the death metal bands can be. Not all death metal bands are, and I'll give you an example, like Mortician, they're not technical. But then you compare them to someone like, I don't know, Psychotic or whatever, they're not particularly death metal, but you compare it to that, and we're not that either. So we're neither.
Just got to hear the new stuff when it comes out. It's killer. It's going to be fucking.
You make up your own mind as to where it sits, but it's definitely more metal than.
It's pretty uncompromising, that album. Like you're either going to love it or hate it, and it's a fucking awesome album, though.
So thanks, Nick.
No, it is.
Yeah. Well, Nick came to see us at the the Necrosonic Festival in Brisbane.
Yeah.
The last time he saw us play as with Steve, and even then I think you'd mentioned how much the band had changed in comparison to the first time that you saw us.
It's changed a lot in the last 2 years. Like, I was a fan before I was a member, and I got into the old stuff, but the new stuff, there's just more focused direction. It's just uncompromising. Like, you're not going to go, well, I don't know what sort of music that is when you finish listening to it. Like, it's pretty in your face. It's consistent. It's a great album. It's going to be awesome.
I think, like in terms of the songwriting, I made a conscious effort to ensure that this is a thing that I just do, and I've done this with all of my projects. If you've ever followed my career in music, everything that's recorded and put out is different. Like, even with my old band, there's a few of them, every recording was a progression, and that's just it's my ethos. I don't want to become a parody of myself, or the band become a parody of itself. I think that first and foremost, as a musician, you want to improve. You want to, that's me. I'm not happy or content just playing the same old, and not everyone agrees with that approach. I think with some people, with some bands, if they're on a formula, it works for them, they keep churning it out, right? That's not ever been my philosophy, but it can be polarising for fans, for fans of the band, because they kind of like the old you, or the previous you, or the new you. Like, it can be, but we don't do this for the money, clearly. There's no money in it. Oh, is there money in it? Excuse me. Is there money? But so if there's no artistic integrity, then what is the point? Like, for you as a person and as a musician, that's just my perspective. You guys can beg to differ, but that's my take on it.
Gotta do it for the money, not the money.
I mean, Ads' drumming is like, where were you from originally? Background? Ads, I know you can tell me.
Yeah, I used to play in a doom band called Eldritch Lights. We were together for about 10 years, sort of thing. And I've also played with a couple of tribute bands, Ace of Spades. I actually played at Lenny's funeral, Dutch Cowboy's funeral at the Cherry Bar. I played an ACDC tribute band as well. And go back right to the 90s in a fresh band called Trip Hammer.
Trip Hammer.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a challenge there for Nick, for Ads, in terms of his drumming and what he was doing, because he never really played in a sort of like
extreme metal band.
So it was. Ads has come along. He's the ultimate professional. You are, I swear. Kelly asked me that question. Ads is nice. Yeah, he's the ultimate professional in the sense that he won't shy away, and I've not seen it. Maybe you do, but I've not seen him shy away from a challenge. and I know I've challenged you a bit this past year in terms of, you know, how they're trying this or whatever, and Ads has ever been the kind of person that would like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
No.
At least have a go.
And give it a go. I mean, if you're still struggling in a month, let's say, maybe you've got some issues with what's happening, but yeah, you always get it sort of thing.
Yeah,
And quiet time at home to go through some stuff and think about it a bit more and get there.
You challenge yourself. You even change your setup and the way you do things, which shows, you know, a bit of progress and whatnot. Like, I reckon you've come a long way in the last 2 years from when I first started seeing you guys. Like, yeah, like, fucking, you can tell you've been playing, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
It's pretty hard. Like, recently, what did you get? You got a...
Yeah, so I'm getting into some electronics for my drums and triggers that are based on the snare drum, just to make it a little bit more consistent sounding and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So whatever you play and whatever kit you're sort of playing, it all sounds pretty much the same everywhere.
And everyone can hear it.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the main reasons. We started talking
Snare
about...
drums talk disappeared really
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, triggered drums for a while now, but it was something I was really keen on, because often in a live situation you can't hear the kick, or you can't. I can't hear often Ads. I can't hear them, so it really helps when you've got them coming through PA. Even if you don't, you can turn around, and I used to turn around and watch his feet to make sure I was in time, because it's so bad sometimes that you know, depending on the venue, that it's very easy to lose, you know, when you're playing fast, and it is.
Doesn't take that much to get right out
Yeah.
of time with each other.
And especially if you've got time signatures, which there's a few of in our band, so unless you get that right, it can throw you right out. So it was really important that we could hear him, and that's really helped a lot. It hasn't solved all the problems, but it's certainly a little bit more consistent, and yeah, you can definitely hear him better on stage anyway. So.
God.
Hi. Bye. Is that true? You can edit my...
So recently, you've been featured in a compilation album. Did you know that was going to happen, or was it a surprise?
Oh, well, we didn't know it was going to happen. It was basically, got an email. We were offered it probably about the year before, and we weren't too sure how our record label would feel about us, because we basically signed a Working More Death, and we have been since the first CD, and we weren't really sure how they would react to having one of their tracks, because the track we recorded, the Imperative Music compilation, will also be one on our new record. So, or CD I should say. You guys were But yeah, so we had to get confirmation from them, and that was all cool. So that's why we sort of didn't do it the first time, because we weren't really sure. We just signed with Wormhole. We didn't want to push our luck. So it was like, all right. But look, our management got in touch and said, look, it's all good. They've worked with them before. So it was like, all right, green light. So we decided we'd go in and finish off one of the tracks that we started on. Happened to be Eat Your Entrails, which is the one that's featured on the Imperative. So that came about because they reached out to us. It's a really gnarly little comp. Haven't got our hands on it yet. It's currently in the mail, but it's not for punters. Like it's basically for record company people and promoters and festivals and stuff like that. Radio stations. Yeah, it's basically to promote the bands on it. I mean, there's heaps of bands on there, some known, some unknown. Like the known ones, obviously, I put that out in a lot of our sort of statements leading up to its release. And it's bands like Dayside, God Dethroned, two of many. And I was stoked. I was like, oh yeah, cool, if they can do it, be on that. So yeah, so that's what it is. It's their 18th edition. Because apparently they do this, I'm not sure if it's annually, but they do this regularly. Obviously they're up to 18, and it's their 15th anniversary edition, so they've been going for 15 years, and I think they're based in the US. So that's a really good thing. So any kind of exposure, I suppose, to heavy music is worth it because it just doesn't get the same sort of airtime or even just air at all. Basically, when we're talking about extreme, whether it's black, doom, well, I hate to say it, even deathcore, any genre.
There's another good compilation, mate.
You get a taste of what's out there as well, which is really cool because you need to be listening to what the rest of the world is doing. I think anyway, not just for yourself as a fan of music, but also to keep your own sort of perspective as to where things are going. Might be some things you like, some things you don't, but we're like sponges. I think everyone absorbs or can recognise good music when they see it, and so I'm not saying you go off and replicate that, but what I'm saying is that it does broaden your horizon as as a songwriter, as a musician, or whatever. Like it goes without saying. Yeah, sure, for sure. I mean, you wouldn't be listening to it if you like it. So I can make up your own mind, but basically that's what the compilation is about. It's commercial.
And you've also gotten exposure in Japan and elsewhere?
Yeah, so the last CD was released in worldwide, so basically all of Europe and what have you, those area, and Japan. With the Japanese version, it came with a really weird cover. It was all Japanese, but when I didn't want to undo it because it's all sealed in this really nice plastic wrap. Because I knew what was underneath, I didn't want to hear the CD. It was more about I wanted to see what was inside. But when you take the wrapping off it, it's basically just a cover sheet, and underneath that is the regular CD. So they put that out. But it was pretty cool. This is the first time in my career, certainly, especially this band, but where I've had Japanese or foreign language as a cover. It was really cool. It was like, anyway,
there's so much good music coming out of Japan at the moment too. They probably really appreciate it there. Like, there's heaps of good bands. They've got a really good heavy music scene. By the look of things at the moment, like they're doing lots of innovative stuff. So hopefully heaps of people will buy it.
And the thing is, like, what was really funny is a mate of mine was touring, or was, I'm not sure if he was touring, but he plays in Werewolves and also I think Brandon as well. But anyway, he was there and he goes, "Oh look," and he's videoed him pulling out our CD. It was in one of the Japanese stores next to Kylie. And it was really funny because like he sent me this message. He goes, "Oh look, two of our Queen exports." Hardly, but anyway. Maybe Kylie, but me. And it was so bizarre and it was quite surreal seeing that. It was just in there with like mainstream Australia and other artists. It was fluke, I think. Kylie was just in there, to be honest. I reckon he planted it there. Look, he might have planted it. I reckon he's planted it. But anyway, point being that, it came out and it's clear, it's great for us because like, I can't recall, certainly in my career, ever having anything put out in Japan.
So, if that was set up, do you reckon that's a hint to maybe do a cover of a Kylie song?
No, that's been done. Who does that? Is that Frank and Bob? Do they do? Oh no, I think they did Madonna. I can't remember now. Oh yeah,
it's not a bad idea actually.
We should do Kylie cover.
Yeah, it's Locomotion.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, not that one. I'm more keen on, let me think, what was it? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not good. We'll talk about it and decide which kind of cover we'll do.
Maybe she could cover us.
Maybe Nick can sing. Nick can actually sing. Do your little reverse grabber.
No.
Anyway,
I'm
can do a Kylie.
I think Kylie should cover Constable.
Which song? Satan's Cop? It's not out yet.
Yeah, probably.
By the way, just need to warn you that, not warning, I'm just saying, often people take things out of context. I'm just saying in advance before it even comes out, the album is a satirical interpretation. It's not meant to be taken that. You need to take it seriously, but just saying it's satire, it's not.
What she's getting at is the album's called Satan's Cock.
That's right. and basically, it's not really
So-
about Satan's cock, but anyway.
You're not going to forget that one in a hurry, though.
Yeah. And there's, songs like Fuck Me Jeebus and Your Mum Sucks Crack in Hell. And so really, when you look at some of the titles, it's like Traffic Life, there's that songs.
Zombie Cum.
Zombie Cum with Zombie Cum.
The memorable ones.
There's nice little titles for the... Anyway, but if you've ever followed our band, and I know you have, Nick, it is Gore-Core. There always has been references to things that I'm into, and we see some of the band are into, but all of it is just a reflection of popular culture, and particularly what I enjoy. And I get my lyrics are very minimalist, as people notice, and that's intentional. I don't like to write paragraphs of scribe.
Just the important stuff.
Yeah,
Satan's Cock.
I like the idea of people being able to interpret it anyway they like. Every song on that record does have an underlying meaning, however. And you get it. I mean, once you read the minimalist, you get exactly what I'm trying to get at. I love language, literature, and I read a fair bit, but for me it's relative to the point I want to make a point, and I've said that, I'm moving on, which is also the reason why a lot of the songs are fairly short. I don't believe in dragging things out, although we do have one freaking epic song now.
There's a couple of longer ones on the new album, that's for sure.
Yeah, longer. By longer we mean probably 4 minutes. But yeah, couple.
More than 2.5 minutes anyway.
Yes, but that's the reason. And like literally live, that is also a reflection of what we're about. We don't usually take ourselves too seriously.